Hey guys, Matt Donald here. This is the part where I tell you about my Patreon, and guess what? I still have a Patreon at patreon.com/Matthew Donald. There you can buy, well, I guess find, but I guess buy is the correct term. That was a bit of a Freudian slip there, but that is correct. You can buy/find bonus content about pop culture featuring prehistoric animals. And this month, we're having a bit of a wild card because I'm in a rut here where I'm recording this later in the month rather than earlier. So it's going to be one of three things, three very different things. It's either going to be Walking with Dinosaurs, the documentary, The Valley of Gwangi, Ray Harryhausen's stop-motion animated film about cowboys and dinosaurs, or Ratchet and Clank Tools of Destruction, the game that has alien dinosaurs in one level. It's going to be one of those three things. So enjoy whichever one it is. Link is in the description for you can sign up for the Patreon. Thank you for your support and have a good day. This show continues to be as professional as ever.
Roar, growl, snarl, bellow.
Welcome to Paleo Bites, the podcast that, like a 90s dinosaur arcade game, is full of primal rage.
I love that game.
I know, it's great. I did it on the Patreon once. Anyways, my name is Matthew Donald, and each week I and a rotating series of guest co-hosts talk about and rate a genus of prehistoric animal, be it dinosaur, mammal, arthropod, and so on. This week, I'm joined by my fellow Primal Rage player from the 90s. It's Ben O'Regan. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Hi, everyone, and sorry for screwing up Matt's intro. That actually wasn't intentional.
There's nothing to screw up at this point. It's like beating... the horse is truly dead. Like, nothing to beat anymore. Like, it's just a undead horse at this point, and then we kill it again.
Undead horse, that's just scary.
Yeah, sounds like what the Headless Horseman would ride or something. Or like those Thestrals from Harry Potter.
Oh, something like the Nightmare or whatever, some kind of black nightmare type horse thing. I'll have to check my mythology. I just remember seeing it as an old Zoo Tycoon 1 mod.
Oh god, I've been playing. So I got again. So we've talked about this in terms of abandonware, where this is like a legal gray area. And plus, I own the game, but this way I have a no CD crack of Zoo Tycoon. I've already installed the game, but this way I don't have to play the CD in it. I can just play it like digital.
I do that myself with a lot of non-Steam stuff because I'm just sick of constantly having to juggle discs, especially since you can't really get physical gaming media anymore. Not for the computer.
I know, which on one hand I'm kind of miss, but on the other hand I think is very convenient.
Yeah. It's a double-edged sword. Like on one hand, if you break the disc, well, that's it. You got to pirate it to get it again or rebuy it. But for any people listening, no, I'm not endorsing piracy. But
well, no. Again, this is the whole thing with Zoo Tycoon and other stuff. It's kind of abandonware. You can't get it on Steam. You can't get it on good old games. You can't get it anywhere except for like old game places.
Yeah, it's the same with Operation Genesis.
Operation Genesis, Sim Theme Park.
Yeah,
remember that one?
Just quickly summarise what I was saying. Basically, physical medium is advantage. It's yours, your own. If there are changes made to distribution in the future, and it's something that's not only digital now, you can keep the uncensored version, like in stream case. But also, with digital, you've got it forever as long as it's not a scummy company that you don't get banned and lose your collection, which is a downside. Which with physical media you don't have to worry about.
And obviously if the digital thing you have it is on a computer and you manage to put it on the internet, then it's truly forever as long as the internet doesn't.
You do run to issues on sites where I think like there was controversy recently, or it might have been last year or this year, but Ubisoft was going to be removing a bunch of games from like the older Assassin's Creed games from Steam.
Oh yeah,
and I think the controversy was that it was going to extend to like actually pulling them from your library as well, which is like, no, you can't do that. That's actually theft. They paid for it.
Yeah, that's the scare. Anyways, I was going to say real quick, I was playing Zoo Tycoon, and I just made a mythology zoo, and what I did is I took the random animals they had and just named them. Like, I didn't have any downloads or anything. I just named the animals certain mythological creatures that were close-ish to.
Fair enough.
So, but yeah, but no, with those abandonware games, you better keep an eye out to make sure no one's watching you down. And speaking of which,
the internet does like to, or not the internet, the government and then the various agencies like to make you think that they're actually checking your IP at all times, but maybe they are in some cases, but like if you just go onto it, even if you don't have a VPN, if you just go into a standard torrent site and download something, the chances of you actually getting caught are basically non-existent. You've got to be like one of...
I mean, like, I don't even download torrents anymore. Yeah. I occasionally get abandonware, like occasionally from like abandonware websites.
I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah, but like when people are like, oh, we gotta hide your, get a VPN so the government doesn't see what you're looking for. I don't give a crap what the government sees. Like, what are they gonna find on my computer? I'm not under any, I'm not on government watch, so they're not looking out for me. And so they're not going to watch out for me. What are they going to find? The worst thing they find is like, oh, this guy looks at porn. Everyone does.
To quote Avenue Q, the internet is for porn.
Oh, yeah. Why, you think the net was porn? Porn.
Yeah. I'll leave it up to you if you're keeping or censoring that part, because I don't know what the policy on this
is. No, that part's fine. I mean, look, it's fine.
Cool.
Anyways, just keep an eye out. And speaking of which, Ophthalmosaurus.
Yeah. And again, sorry for the tangents, people. You should be used to it by now with me.
You're definitely used to it. We are nearly 200 episodes into this show, and if you're not here for the tangents, you're not here at all. So it means eye lizard, called such because it has an enormous eye. I think it might be the largest eye of any vertebrate animal known.
Probably the only thing bigger or equal to it, and it's not a vertebrate, would be like squid eyes on the giant squids.
Yeah, those are the bigger ones. Yeah, the giant squids. Yeah, So its type is an ichthyosaur, a group of marine reptiles that are basically lizard dolphins, and in the Triassic heyday, lizard whales.
And if people are wondering, or they're probably not, the main reason why they have the shark-like way of swimming instead of the mammalian up and down seen in dolphins and whales, it's purely due to spinal movement, because the way the mammalian spine have developed, it's more efficient to go up and down than side to side.
I actually had an interesting speculative evolution idea on that note of if there was going to be like a mammal snake, like what kind of creature would it evolve from and how would it slither?
It's actually a very good question.
I decided it would be like a mustelid, like an otter or something.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, you look at the way some of their bodies are.
Yeah, and then it slithers up and down kind of like the way... like you see a sea serpent do in the old illustrations, but like obviously not that high up and down exactly, but in that sort of way where it kind of undulates. I don't know any idea why that would evolve, but then why did snakes evolve out? So if there's gonna be a mammal snake in the future, I reckon it's from like an otter or a weasel or something.
I mean, I'm no expert when it comes to how like biology of mammals and that and what's plausible or not, but I could actually see that evolving. It's probably unlikely, but it could happen in the right circumstances. A bit like that Serena world of birds had birds that started like evolving smaller and smaller eggs as they developed larders for the young, that eventually they shed the shell and their eggs were basically like amphibian eggs to an extent, and it allowed them to become a clade known as metamorphs, so they were able to like completely reset their evolutionary potential, developing tails, teeth, and proper hands again.
Oh man.
And that's where you get placenta birds.
Great. Speculative evolution's great, man. May it never die.
Oh, it never will. Still thriving even 20 years after the future as well.
There's gonna be a big. I'm sure there's gonna be a big budget reboot sort of idea of the future as wild. I mean, not necessarily in that IP, but some sort of new version of that.
I'd rather they just do a proper adaptation of Dougal Dixon's Afterman and just fix up the plausibility a bit.
Right. Anyways, Ophthalmosaurus size 13 to 15 feet, stretch 4 to 4.5 meters long, 2,000 pounds, 900 kilograms. It was a carnivore. Time, late Jurassic, 165 to 157 million years ago. So earlier than when Walking with Dinosaurs depicted it in 148 million years ago, I think is when that one took place. Actually, almost everything in that episode was actually from far earlier, except for Lyopleurodon.
It tends to happen, plus just because it's not found in that particular range doesn't mean it might have extended into or a closely related species, for all we know.
Oh, for sure. And also, on that note, some scant material from the Spilsby Sandstone Formation indicates it might have lived a little bit later, actually into the very early Cretaceous period, up to 143 million years ago. So potentially it lived the late Jurassic to a little bit into the early Cretaceous.
It's interesting going back to just the bit you mentioned before, and I know this is detracting from Ophthalmosaurus itself, but that the heyday of the ichthyosaurs, while they were still very diverse in the Jurassic, was actually the Triassic, and I think that comes down to, like, because that's where all the big buggers lived. I think there's
like the Shawneesaurus and Shastasaurus, those whale
I'm wondering
ones.
if it comes down to both, because you had the Tealois, however you pronounce it, radiation of fish in the Jurassic which is the predecessors to modern rayfin fishes. But also, they were getting competition, niche-wise, from the plesiosaurids and the plesiosaurs.
Yeah, the plesiosaurs, and then the Cretaceous, the mosasaurs. I think that was the killing blow for them.
I think the mosasaurs actually evolved really quickly after they died out, and
I'm fairly certain there was no overlap between mosasaur and ichthyosaurs.
Yeah, I think from what I remember reading, again, don't quote me, it's not cost for everyone I'm about to say, but they find a bit like how we now know that theories from the time walking dinosaurs about pterosaurs were wrong, they were actually still thriving, that just not quite as diverse as they used to be, but and how they're no longer all depicted as shorebirds, essentially. But we now think that the handful of reduced ichthyosaur, diversity in the Cretaceous didn't mean they were actually on the decline. They were just specialised in a particular role now, and that left them more vulnerable.
Oh, for sure.
So, but they weren't in some kind of long-term decline as thought.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, we just are constantly putting pieces of an incomplete puzzle together, and there's so many things we might get wrong. For example, who knows? Maybe there were Cretaceous ichthyosaurs that we just haven't found, or we might ever find, because the formations aren't there. Because so many of the formations are only from certain places and certain times, and there are certain times and places that don't have formations from that time and place.
Yeah, that's just the problem with the fossil record in general. Especially while seabeds tend to be a bit better if you can find their sites at preserving things because it's under the water and sediment drops. It's just,
I'm sure
we're
there's
never going to get a complete record. I think close to 1,000 species of dinosaur identified now, if I recall, if not a bit under or a bit over. But that's only a fraction of whatever existed, because again, unless we get a time machine, we're at the mercy of the fossil record and geology, which
there might be
really fickle.
There might be more advanced ways for us to get certain fossils in the future. Like maybe we can get submersibles that hunt for fossils that are buried in the depths of the ocean. Or maybe there are formations that are underneath other formations that we can't reach right now because they're underground.
True. There's also the whole why would you want to dig down so deep in certain areas, like cities built on certain spots. You can't dig under there. It's sewers and everything.
Right, but if you dig deep enough, you might hit another formation from a certain time period.
Yeah, I get you.
So that's why right where I live, Dinosaur Ridge, there's the cutoff point between two formations, and you can see it. It's there's on one side of the hill is Cretaceous formation, and the other side is Jurassic.
Which one's Dinosaur Ridge? Is that the Colorado Range one?
Yeah, it's right up here. It's my Megazoic books were sold at the gift shop there for quite a while.
That's right.
Because I volunteered there. And because I volunteered there, I think I told this story. In 2018, a Universal executive came down and invited us all to an early screening of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. So I saw it a week before it came out officially from a special screening that hosted by Dinosaur Ridge. And I think that's brilliant marketing from Universal to go to dinosaur places to get the hype going.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So yeah, I really, really enjoyed Fallen Kingdom. I saw it a week ahead of time. But anyways, so... where was I? Described in 1874, pop culture appearances, Walking with Dinosaurs, where it's the featured creature of the episode Cruel Sea, and the preschool aimed and always dependable show Dinosaur Train, and also the Jurassic Park Builder mobile game, the predecessor to Jurassic World the game, the other Ludia game.
Ludia. I've never touched any of this
mobile
stuff.
Games. Good for you. I'm too sucked in. I can't help it. Jurassic World the game has my soul.
Oh, if they were probably on PC, I'd probably have gotten sucked in, but I just refused to play any game on cell phone. How I didn't start reading fanfics on my phone until recently, because I realised you could download them as PDFs on the phone, and then I got something to read when I'm taking a loo break at work.
For sure. But no, I'm pulling up Jurassic World the game right now. Let's see. All the timers. Oh, that just reminds me, I gotta silence my phone here because it made a noise there. Alright, so I've got a timer here. I can get some card with some new stuff in 6 hours.
What?
And then I've got cards of new stuff that have new resources or whatever.
Oh, right. Cell phone game monetized microtransactions.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And then in 4 days, this thing will hatch. And let's see, hold on. Ooh, I got some cash here from this. Boom. 19 hours for more food. Yeah, it's great.
Pardon
Or
my-
I can speed it up.
Pardon my French, because I'm not judging you for playing it, but fuck that.
Oh no, I wish I didn't play it. I wish I couldn't. I wish I could stop playing it. It's predatory as hell, but I'm sucked in. It's all the psychological tricks it uses to keep idiots like me playing have worked on me.
Steam does
so,
the exact same
close.
thing with its sales, so we all end up buying a heap ton of games on Steam for the cheap that we never actually end up playing.
Exactly. It's like, oh, I'm saving money. This game I'll never play, that's normally $60, is suddenly $30.
Or it's $5.
Even though I'll never play it, and I'll more likely spend $0 on it, I'm going to get it on sale. I'm saving money. So Ophthalmosaurus. So I actually quite like that in the Walking with Dinosaurs episode they didn't just use ichthyosaurus or plesiosaurus. They used Ophthalmosaurus and Cryptocleitus. So.
Yeah, they tried to find something a bit more unique.
Also, to be fair, like ichthyosaurus is not from the late Jurassic; it's from the early Jurassic, and actually a little bit into the Triassic too. So it makes sense that they would
Plus,
go.
there's
with.
only so much you can do with ichthyosaur depictions because, I mean, while they're diverse-ish, the fossil, and you can probably pick out like whether they specialise in ammonites or fish to a degree. You can't really show that in the thing because by the Jurassic they're all generally moderate to small size, whereas if you want the big boys, you got to go to the Triassic, as we said, and even then the body plan's exactly the same. It's not like with whales and dolphins where you got several varieties of dolphin body design, baleen, and so on.
Well, I mean, like the big ones, like they don't have the dorsal fins. I don't think.
True.
Like Ophthalmosaurus does.
But they've all got the general same thing. The only real change in body shape other than size is that some of them are more bulbous than tear-shaped.
Oh, so Ophthalmosaurus, like, it was a real wastebasket taxon. Well, actually, it's like the opposite of wastebasket taxon. Rather than a lot of things being named Ophthalmosaurus, there were a lot of other species that eventually got absorbed into the Ophthalmosaurus genus. These include Apatodontosaurus, and Ancamunia, Baptanodon, Molisaurus, Paraophthalmosaurus, Undorosaurus, and Yasikovia. Dinosaur names are stupid, but
I guess even worse when you get like granted I can't blame them for trying to not run out of names, but like you look at like some of the dinosaurs in East Asia, like some of the Chinese ones, and they're like purely Chinese names or purely Latin
which I
names.
get. They're trying to do more local names.
Yeah, but then when they try to mix Latin in the local thing, it doesn't always work very well.
Like my favorite example of that is Shawhannosaurus.
Yeah.
Which is Xaunhano saurus. So after the Shanhan region in China.
Yeah, so like Shanhan lizard, I get the naming, but it would have been better to use a Chinese word meaning lizard.
Shanhang Long.
Yeah.
Like Chinese Shanhan dragon. I saw a really funny meme on a paleontology group I was on Facebook before it got zucked, which was the term. Where it's like, so you remember that scene in Black Panther where Chadwick Boseman's in the ancestral realm, he's talking to the ancestors like, you were wrong! All of you were wrong! To turn your backs on the rest of
after Killmonger temporarily kills him.
Yeah. So someone took that scene, and it's like, this is what a paleontologist finding Chinese dinosaurs. You are long! All of you are long! Because it's like Guang Long, Mei Long, Shuman Long. Like,
this is going to be a bit cringy, but you can get quite funny with Chinese names. Like, I don't know how accurate the translation was, but like one of the Chinese terms for might have been king or emperor was like the Wang, and I was suggesting it to this guy who does alternate history stuff, and he's like this Asian theme round. You could have like the Wang Long for like basically King Dragon.
I'm such a child.
And he just went like, I didn't even think about it. Time it's like, I'm not going to make penis jokes. Basically, he said.
Oh God.
And I wasn't even suggesting that. I didn't even click.
Okay, yeah, Wang Long. I'm such a child.
It could have been pronounced in another way I knew, like to use a franchise I quite like is Dynasty Warriors. But like
yes.
Up until the 6th game, like they pronounce like Sao as cow for the English dubs, it's actually Sao or Sao.
Oh, that makes sense. So. Well, it's interesting. But like, there was an episode of a show I liked on Netflix called The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, and she goes to this class at one point, and this, I think, Korean or Thai, somewhere in East Asia. I feel bad for not knowing exactly. His name is Dong, and so she's like, "Hey there, Dong, and she chuckles because she's kind of mature. And then she's like, my name is Kimmy. And then the Dong is like, oh, cool. In my language, that means penis. Inverting the joke. So, anyways, Ophthalmosaurus. But yeah, so Ophthalmosaurus got its name because the lateral area of the cranium was almost entirely occupied by the animal's massive eyes. Those eyes are about 8.7 to 9.1 inches in diameter, which is 22 to 23 centimeters. Now, to be fair, I'm assuming that's the eyeball or the eye socket, and obviously the lid would cover a lot of it.
Makes sense.
Because, like, our eyes, if you look at them, are actually a lot bigger than a lot of people realize. The problem is they're mostly in our skulls and covered in eyelids. So, the thing about this eye, it kind of leads credence to the idea that either Ophthalmosaurus was a night hunter or a deep-sea hunter.
Either of those
Somewhere
could
where
be...
it really needs to soak up every bit of light it could.
It could even overlap. It could be both.
Yeah. Now, obviously, like it couldn't go too deep because of the fact that there'd be no light at all, and then those eyes would be useless. Although some animals can dive way deeper than you might think. I've learned this recently. Elephant seals can dive up to 2 kilometers deep, and they do it in the search for clams.
Right.
You can swear if you want. I'll just have velociraptors.
I know. I was just
come
like,
in
what?
and censor it. There's this really funny footage I've seen because someone shared this thing that showed like how deep the sea goes and how deep animals dive. And someone was like, "Wait a minute, elephant seals at 2,300 meters? What the hell?" And then it's like someone shared this like funny image of this funny video of these deep sea divers. They're in the bottom of the ocean, about 2.3 kilometers deep, and the only light is there from their camera, right? And they're looking at the seabed, they're looking at the crabs, and then suddenly, out of the blue, an elephant seal comes up to the camera. It would be kind of scary if it wasn't so dumb looking, because like the eyes are reflecting off of the light's reflecting off its eyes.
But seals are pretty stupid in general.
Oh yeah, but seals are like closely related to dogs, right? So imagine it's like whenever you see a dog put its nose in front of the camera. That's kind of what this elephant seals do. Like, oh, what's this? Hello, guys. Are you gonna help me find for clams? I'm looking for clams.
I just see this.
I'm sure the
who let the Gungan in?
I know. I'm sure, like, these scientists in this deep-sea submersible were like, what the hell? I did not expect to see an elephant seal down here. And he's just like, oh, I'm just searching for clams.
Imagine you're just down there and, like, you just see something come by and it's like, okay, the hell is it? And you're, oh, Mr. Jar Jar Binks. And you're like, what the hell?
So I imagine that's what Ophthalmosaurus is doing. It's just occasionally just goes down. Also, the teeth of Ophthalmosaurus are indicative of being good against soft prey. Like, they probably wouldn't have hunted the ammonites.
Not like what was shown in the show.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think it showed in the show that the babies were trying to bite the ammonites.
Oh, that's right.
And they realized that they were too tough.
My bad.
Yeah, they hunted, like, squids and fish. Yeah, they hunted squids and
Hadn't
fish.
seen it for a while, so me stupid.
Yeah, that's okay. But there's, like, later ichthyosaurs like Platypterygius, which had enough teeth and more robust jaws to hunt large prey, including turtles and birds.
Ooh.
So yeah, but not this guy. This guy was like exclusively like soft, soft prey. So
yeah, so it was probably hunting not heavily armored fish.
Yeah, and it would have had to in real life. It would have to watch out for like Pliosaurus and stuff, but not Leopleurodon. Or if it didn't have life for Leopleurodon, it'd be okay because it'd be like only 7 meters rather than 25.
Yeah.
So,
I also don't think Leopleurodon probably would have gotten that far out of the way. I mean, granted, if it's smaller, then it's closer in size, but like, why would the 25-foot one bother with something so bloody small?
Well, it's not even that much smaller. It's like half the length. 4 meters versus 7 meters.
Oh, I mean, if it were the size Walking with D depicted as, it's like, why is something...
Oh, Walking with Dinosaurs did it. Well, like, yeah, at that point, yeah, there's no point, really. Like,
it'd be like Tyrannosaurus trying to... Basically like the Land Before Time. Granted, the implication was that Sharptooth was starving, but, like, why is it pursuit?
Well, starving, and also they hurt his eye. So,
plus, there seemed to be, like... Because one of the interpretations for it that I think Spielberg shot down, because that, what's his name, Don Bluth on the go was that it was sort of like an evil spirity
afterlife?
kind of thing.
Is
Yeah,
that-
like where the dinosaurs were kind of in a purgatory and the Great Valley was like heaven.
Heaven. Yeah, because, like, yeah, I've heard that theory, too, where, like, the earthquake at the beginning is actually the dinosaur extinction, so they all die, and the kids have to find their way through purgatory to heaven, and in which case Sharptooth would be a literal demon.
Yeah,
so
which also fits
Which
with
makes
like,
sense based on-
how apparently the Narnia books ended like a bunch of
in
creatures
the last battle.
Yeah, got left behind or some shite.
Yeah. Oh, man. Anyways, on that lovely note, let's rate up Ophthalmosaurus 1 out of 65 million. I'm going to rate it like a 42 million. I think it's cool. It doesn't have too much distinctive from other ichthyosaurs other than it's bigger and lives later, but other than that, like, it's kind of just poor man's ichthyosaurus.
I'll probably rate it 12.5 million, which is roughly 25%, just because the big eyes actually freak me out.
Oh, I can see that for sure. Imagine, again, like with that elephant seal with the eyes reflecting off. Imagine that thing reflecting off if you're just in a submersible, the depths of the Jurassic seas. So,
Imagine if it
Nigel
also
Marvin,
has a skin
watch out.
pattern like those bioluminescent parasaurolophus. You're like, what the hell's that?
oh, did you know, speaking of it, Jurassic World Evolution, because we were talking about that earlier, did you know that there's skins in the Styxosaurus that glow? They're bioluminescent?
I did know that because it's one of my favourite ones, despite it looking weird as hell.
Yeah. Oh, no, like, whenever I build, like, snow parks, I often have, as well as the fuzzy ones, I have the ones that glow at night. And then when I have it at night, it kind of looks like a Christmas-themed park.
Oh, nice.
So, with all the lights.
Yeah.
So, like, I have, like, the Parasaurolophus that glow, and then the Styxosaurus that glow, alongside, like, some feathered Utyrannus and...
That's cool. I used to find, like, a lot of the marine animals in it, like, the appearance of a lot of them was kind of weird, like the... Elasmosaurus looking kind of dragony.
Oh, that
it
looks
actually
like-
grows on you after a while.
It's what they did with the Deinonychus in the first one. They're trying to make it distinctive visually from the other one.
I still found the Deinonychus ridiculous looking, but like I don't find the marine animals that you just need to take a bit of time to get used to them.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Anyways, all right. So, well, that's it for this week. If you want to get a hold of the show, you can contact me at mattdeepmethodoncareer.com or this is the first time you've heard this at paleobitespodcast@gmail.com. There we have an official email.
Oh, wow.
And then on social media, it's at paleobitespod on Twitter and Paleobites Podcast on Instagram. I need to get an official TikTok going because TikTok, for whatever reason, is where I'm getting a lot of my views. The algorithm there loves me.
What the hell?
So, you can find my book on Megazoic on Amazon, available for print and Kindle. No Ophthalmosaurus, because very little on the prehistoric sea animals. There's at one point in the second book, Mosasaurus with torpedoes on it.
Ooh.
So that's pretty cool. But yep, that's it for this week. As I said at the end of every episode of Paleo Bites, I guess like bloop, bloop. We saw Jar Jar Binks.
You can't do Jar Jar, that's me. No, you know what? Yeah.
I want to do my great Salacious Crumb impression. Okay, here we go. He's the little monkey lizard rat thing in Jabba's palace.
Oh, the laughing thing.
Yeah, here we go.
That's kind of creepy.
Anyways, bye, listeners.
Crikey.